Good evening, people, and welcome to the 14th round of Season 17 in Division 2. We are here for the big one, for the Monaco Grand Prix, the Principality, the Crown Jewel, whatever you want to call it. It has many names in the Formula 1 community. But either way, it is the most challenging track on the calendar, the most challenging track in the game, and it will be, for sure, a crucial race in the championship and a big moment in this season's story for sure. We've only got a handful of races left to go here as we go into Monaco. Like I said, round 14. There's another 4 races left after this, so including this one, indeed exactly a handful of races. 5 races left in this Division 2 championship. Okay, let me just quickly go ahead and share the stream. There we go, that's done. Looks dry so far. I can't see the sky, so I'm not sure if there's clouds or anything, but I'm sure if it's raining the drivers will be crying immediately. Strategy-wise, of course, the Monaco Grand Prix is a mandatory 2-stop. Unlike in the Division 1 Brazil Grand Prix, that's not our doing, that's the FIA deciding it, and we have to follow it. There's no way around in the game. But it will still be interesting to see how it develops with 2 mandatory stops. Could make a bit more movement possible throughout the race, which is very important for one guy in this race, which is Kuko. Kuko is coming into this race with a qualifying ban. He got 2 penalty points in Canada for blocking Sully in qualifying, and since he already had 3 for previous incidents throughout the season, Kuko went up to 5, and 5 penalty points means you get a qualifying ban. Kuko is not allowed to set a lap in this qualifying session, means he will start from 16th on the grid, maybe 17th. Lanky Brown is on the way, I think. So we've got a 17-car grid. But there is there's multiple drivers, of course, missing here today. But the most noteworthy one is Gabri. After the puncture in Canada, another massive setback in Gabri's championship hunt. He is currently 39 points behind Sully. Now had to miss the Monaco Grand Prix as well. Well, that's really not going to help his chances. Apart from that, we are also missing Owais and Pocho for tonight's race. They are unavailable. And Bobodinho is racing in the Aston Martin. Who actually, well, that was Desi's car, but Desi dropped to reserve. Bobodinho is not actually replacing anyone. He was given the Aston Martin when it was still all 20 main drivers available, or all 19 main drivers available, the Aston Martin being the only seat free. First couple of cars already on track, well, quite a few cars are on track already. The first one of them being the Haas of Flavors. As Pix has already disconnected, we are quite literally 2 minutes in. Great start for Pix, who is completely offline. That's great. So, first driver starting it up, Flavors coming into the rust cuts, into the last couple of corners here. Of course, qualifying unbelievably crucial around Monaco, and it really is the worst timing possible for Kuko to get that qualifying ban around here. So, Flavors, braking for the first corner, takes much to the inside curb as he dares to, of course, want to stay within track limits, but you can gain loads of time by cutting the absolute shit out of that corner. Up the hill, and towards the slowest part of the track now. First up, into Murbo. One of the overtaking spots for this track as well. Not really a big one, but, well, you have to take what you can get around here. Overtaking practically impossible. As Kuko has retired from the session. Has he crashed? I think he's crashed. And Mihai has crashed! I went on board with Mihai, because I saw him coming up to Kuko's crash, and I wanted to see what happened to Kuko, and then Mihai, I think, did the exact same thing. He clipped the inside barrier and the front right tire just popped off. And I think the same happened to Kuku as well, the way he was standing there. That's unbelievable stuff. That's Div 2 heritage. One guy crashes, I try and look what happens. I go on board with Mia, he also bins it. Who would have thought? So, flavors around the final corner. The first lap to be completed in this session. It's a 1:11.544. Definitely can expect those lap times to improve majorly over the course of the session. 11.224 by Aussie. I think a 109 I think I can expect for sure from Division 2 guys, because I think like 107 is the pace that I would like that I think I have 107s in mind as like the pace for when we had Monaco in RRL, but that might be completely wrong. That was realistic cars. But within your 11.5, maybe I'm misremembering because that is quite far away. Guga, there we go. 10.256. A full second clear of Aussie in second, and Pub Dog for Bodinio Flavors viral so far with lap times on the board. Action Rig over the line, and he goes into 7th, a 1:14.165 for the Aston Martin man. Championship leader Sully. Coming up the hill. As close to the barriers as he dares, of course. On his banker lap, can leave a little bit on the table, you know. Get a lap on the board. Make sure you do nothing silly, and then you can push later. Push harder later on. When you already have that lap to fall back on in case you make a mistake. Like me, I did, of course, because that ended his qualifying completely. And a track like Monaco, that really is the worst possible scenario. Of course, it's never good anywhere to have a crash in qualifying early on and stuff in the back. But especially, if you were to pick a track where you'd absolutely not want this to happen, it's Monaco. But it's also the track where it happens most, because it's such a difficult track, of course. And also, I think the mental pressure, I guess, of thinking, I absolutely cannot crash. If I crash, it's so over. So it adds even more difficulty on top of just the track itself being difficult. You also put so much pressure on yourself. Sully, 10.892. Second place for now. That was a pretty safe lap by him. He definitely has more pace in that car. But like I said, of course, that first banker. Just get a lap on the board. Edwin slamming into the barriers multiple times there. Coming through the swimming pool. Is that swimming pool? How do I not know Monaco corner names? Diabolical. Okay, thank you. Of course, Nael knows lap times. But he says 108s. For normal people. So for like me, kart racer, Jeremy, that kind of level. You are probably doing 107s, right? I think I remember you putting that for EOR and all the races you did for us. But yeah, I'm out like low 109s, 108s is like fast but reasonable people. 107s is esports sweats, and then like 109s surely? Yeah, I mean Guga with a 10.2 early on. We will definitely get into the 109s at least. If Gabriel was here, it'd probably be at like a 106 by now, for much a quality merchant he is. 11.0 by Sean. 4th place. Phantom, in the meantime, went to 3rd with a 10.9 as he was waffling there. I think the only driver currently on a hot lap is Pix, unless Phantom and Sean are. Nope. So yeah, we can stay on board with Pix for the rest of this lap. And I should open the Monaco track. That's what I was wanting to do, and I saw the ping from Nael letting me know about lap times. I'm glad someone who's watching knows what they're talking about. There we go, now I've got the actual corner names up. I was right, it was a swimming pool. So, Pix, out the final corner. Looked a little bit lazy on the throttle there, very late. It's enough for P9, 11.552, very close between Flavors and Pix there. And a big gap behind the Viral. PC Wooly, the man on form as of recent. Picked up another win in Canada. A little barrier tap there through Mirabo. I'm gonna say it's intentional, get the car rotated, but you never know. Of course, getting as close as he can to those walls, coming through Mirabo and into port here now through the tunnel. Into the new virtual chicane. This is the lap, or the corner, sorry, where you really decide how good this lap can be. And with the recent track limit changes in the F125 game, well, not so recent anymore, like a couple of weeks ago, That corner especially has gotten a lot more tricky. Before you could cut it a lot more than you can now. Now you really can't get away with much. But you still have to do it, because it's so much time game if you nail it. And if you sort of stay off the curve or something, you lose, honestly, a solid second. Peaceably, that's enough for P2, a 10.735. That 10.2 by Guga, still miles clear of anyone else. Aussie, coming to the last sector, was a little bit down the middle sector, and that little slide coming out in the swimming pool chicane wouldn't have helped. And out towards the line for Aussie, that's going to be a 11.035, a bit of an improvement, puts him into the top 5. Pupdog, with a purple middle sector, 82,000 up, so I'm not sure that purple sector is real, considering he's 1.2 off pole, I mean a bit more than that to go purple. That's his last sector before, was absolute dog shit. Pupdog, dog shit, that's funny. Over the line, that's a 11.259, a little bit of an improvement. I think he was already 7th before he stayed where he was. Next over the line I see a Red Bull, that'll be Sonny then, if it's not Viral, who's starting a lap. Then a Ferrari, that's Phantoms finishing his in-lap. And behind that we've got Flavors in the Haas. 1.5 tenths gain in the middle sector, so he's looking to beat Bobodinho to P8. And of course the DRS enabled, ERS down to the line. And that's a 11.285, and it is enough to beat Bobodinho. Not quite enough to beat Pupdog though. As Edwin goes over the line into P12, then one of the Williams, I believe that's Sean today, or is it, that's an Alpine, never mind. Still can't tell those two apart. They look the exact same on the track map. Aussie on a slower lap behind, I've got Bobodinho, who is up massively, a full second in the middle sector, gained by Bobodinho. And that could put him into P2 if he nails the final sector as well, maybe even P1. What has he got for us? That is P2. 10.381 by Bobodinho. Just over a 10th away from Guga, who is on another lap as well now, but he's coming up the back of Flavor. Sully has crashed at the Nouvelle Chicane. Our championship leader, currently in 5th, a 10.892, has crashed out of qualifying in Monaco. And that is a massive moment in the championship. Now PC Wooly, he's already ahead of Sully. Action Wreck also out of the session now. PC Wooly has to capitalize on this, surely. Get that points gap coming down more and more. It's also good news for Gabri. Of course, he is already pretty far away from Sully with only so few races to go, and now also missing this race. But he still has half a chance, you would think. He's not going to want to give up on the title that easily. And Guga goes into the 109s, 109.9 and 9, 2.5 tenths gained as he crosses the line. And improves his gap to second place. Solidifies his position in first. On pole here in Monaco. So he's gonna hope to hold on to as many places as he can. P5, well, at Monaco it is a bit of a disaster, but it's not completely end of your race, especially with the two-stop strategy. You can do quite a lot on the strategy, undercuts. Mainly you want to go for really. You can try a big overcut. The fresh tire does gain you loads and loads of lap time if you have a big tire difference. It's just actually getting to use it, staying out of traffic and getting around people that undercut you. We've got Bazooka on his first lap of the session, 6 minutes to go here. Bazooka, Lanky, the only ones left in the session without lap time. Of course Mihai and Kuku as well, but they are out. Kuku serving the qualifying ban, and Mihai, well, both Kuku and Mihai crashed of course at once, but Kuku wasn't allowed to set the lap time anyway. Sean just jumped to 3rd place, and what a gain that is, almost 7 tenths. 0.385 for Sean, puts him 4 thousandths behind Bobodinho. And then his teammate Pix, I believe that was over the line. He went 4th fastest, Pix! Prime Ewek, we've got him. He's finally back. P4. 10.647. He's beaten PC Woody, he's beaten Phantom, he's beaten Sully. Unbelievable stuff. Of course, PC Woody doesn't have something to say about that. He's currently on a hot lap. Bazooka's ghosting as he comes into the last corner, so he made a mistake somewhere. That means a lot of time lost then for him, and over the line it's a 13.025, which puts him only out of Action Break in 13th position. PC Woody coming from the tunnel right now. Of course, burning overtake. Looking to gain some time through here. Niall has given me a full rundown of the corner names. I have a track map up now. So, thank you. But it is easier with the map. If I actually can see it. I really should know by heart. I'm surprised I don't. I thought I did, that's why I didn't bother getting a track map beforehand. And then I started talking and I realized I don't. So, PC Woody, through the last corner and down to the line. Currently in 5th place, and that's an improvement of 6, almost 7 tenths, 6.5 tenths. 10.074, only just outside the 109s, and that's 2nd place for PC Woody. A crucial improvement as he jumps all the way from 5th to 2nd. Phantom Fox also on another run. Currently 10.871 is best lap time, that's enough for P6. But of course he'll be hoping for a little bit more than that. 4 minutes left to go here in qualifying. So this could be his last chance. If he finishes this lap, he won't get back in and out in time. So either he's gonna go back to the pits at the end of this lap, or finish this one and that's it for him. I guess he could do a cooldown lap on this tire, has he got enough fuel for that? Probably not. Aussie! With a disqualification as he blocks the pit lane? Yes, and Aussie is indeed disqualified. Putting him to the back of the grid. That is horrible luck for Aussie. Wonder what he's done. Did he spin in the pits exit or something? And that means he's gonna start from 17th position, even behind Kuku and Mihai. As Phantom comes to the last 2 corners. And out towards the line. For the Ferrari driver, that's a 10.472. 4 tenths, almost exactly gained. Puts him ahead of Pix in 5th position. Bobodinho on another run, and he takes pole position here! I caught it just at the end. Didn't see him improving at all throughout the course of the lap, but just as he comes over the line, 109.839 for the Aston Martin driver, for the reserve. Racing for them tonight. He has taken pole position of Guga. Guga has been on pole for the last 15 or so minutes, really. The entire time that we've been in qualifying, he's been quite far clear. But now, right into death in the crucial moment. Guga River still in the pit lane, leaving it quite late. It's going to be a bit of a mad dash to the line, because loads of people are still in the pit lane, and they're going to come out at some point, trying to get those laps in. And there won't be much space. Could also be a problem for the guys currently on hot laps, if they run into those trains. Currently on board with Viral. He's rounding out the top 10 with a 11.476, 1.4 to Edwin behind, 2 tenths to Flavors ahead. Pub Dog, I think, also on a slow lap. He's on none years. Phantom starting another lap just at the end. And I think so is Bombardino. Yeah, both Bombardino and Phantom with another lap on the used tire. We'll stay with Viral for the moment. And he is crashed in the same spot that Sully did. I think both Red Bulls have been caught out now by that Nouvelle chicane. Well, I'm not sure where in the chicane Sully crashed. But Viral, with so little time left in qualifying, he has binned it right into death. And cost him a chance of maybe beating the likes of Flavors and Pub Dog into 9th, 8th, maybe even Sully. I'm not sure how much time he had left to gain on that 11.4 really. At Monaco it's tough to say, drivers really can gain a lot of lap time throughout the session. Flavors does do so, almost 4 tenths gain there, he jumps Pub Dog for P8, 1000 behind Sully. And Bombardino indeed on another run. Phantom has crashed in the same spot that Viral did, also here coming off the Nouvelle chicane. I think Bombardino had a terrible exit there. I don't think he'll be gaining anything, and I think he's also invalidated, yep, and he's also 2nd down. Sean, 50,000 down in the first sector. He's coming towards the end of sector 2 here. And a massive warbling there, 10th down by him. Guga coming towards the end of sector 1. Can he take back pole position from Bombardino? He needs about 1.5 tenths. He's got a 10th down in the first sector. No improvement so far. Pix though with an improvement by almost 3 tenths. Where has this pace come from? Where has it been? It's been long. I've not seen this in so long. It's really since season 10 when Pix won the Canadian Grand Prix. 3 tenths gained in the middle sector. You could beat Phantom, you could beat Sean. Unbelievable stuff here at the end of qualifying. Guga, easy, you're gonna take back pole. He is purple in the middle sector. For now though, let's look at eyes on picks, and he does jump into 4th place. What a qualifying for him. And then Guga through the last corner. Can he take back pole? I think he can. He was gaining enough in the middle sector, and that final sector looked pretty clean from what I saw. Over the line, 109.709. Indeed, Guga River is on pole position for the moment. Edwin is going round, Bazooka is going round, PC is going round, Flavors is invalidating that thing, right? Yeah. The next one over the line is Edwin. He is 7 tenths up, but he's also 1.4 away from the next car. Bazooka is 4 tenths up. PC 3.5 tenths up. PC right in the end of qualifying. Can he steal pole position away? That would be absolutely crucial for him. Sully down in 7th. Gary not even racing. That could be a very, very good position to be in to gain loads of points in this race. But he missed the apex coming out of the final corner. Edwin stayed in 11th. Bazooka stayed in 12th. PC over the line. That is not enough for pole. He messed up the last sector. Did not even improve. And PC stays in 3rd place. And with that, qualifying is officially done. It's Guga River on pole position here for Alpine. Well, it would have been an Alpine sandwich without Aussie's disqualification. Kuko did move up to 16 from that. 109.709 from Guga River. Then Bobodinho just over a tenth behind in 2nd position, followed by PC Woody, the first driver outside the 109s, 110.074. Pix with one hell of a qualifying, up in 4th place ahead of his 3-time champion teammate Sean, who is in 5th. Then Phantom and Sully, both with DNF. Sully quite early on in 6th and 7th. Flavors only 1,000 behind Sully. Unbelievably close margins there, as he's in 8th place. Then we've got Pubdog, the first driver outside the 110s. There's no O, just 110. Outside the 110s, Pubdog 11.069. Viral rounds to the top 10, 11.476. Then Edwin, very close behind Viral in the end. Almost got him with that massive improvement at the end. 11.505. Bazooka 11.683, 12th. Axrick 114.165. 3 seconds or 2.5 seconds away from the next car in 13th. Then Lanky Brown didn't put a lap in, stayed in 14th. Mihai crashed from the start, 15th. Kuko with a qualifying ban, 16th. And Aussie with the disqualification starts from the back of the grid. And now it gets interesting, because strategy-wise, of course, normally this would be a very, very unbelievably boring one-stop strategy, pit as early as you can, undercut the shit out of everyone. But with this two-stop, it gets a lot more tricky. And also, I think, even more tricky than if you think of like an esports race, because there will be a lot more gaps in the train, and there will be different trains forming, and you have to think about where you come out of the pit lane if you get into traffic. Because if you get into traffic, your undercut is dead. So it gets quite interesting. Overcuts might be doable. Of course, undercuts, the fresh tire is a massive advantage around here, so you really want the undercut. And of course, if you are ahead, then after the undercut, you're probably going to stay ahead. But yeah, the traffic can be a big, big issue for that. So no matter what, this is going to get very interesting for sure. It's worth mentioning, actually, we have got no rain. No driver crying about it, so I assume there's no rain. So here we are for the formation lap around Monaco. We can see the strategies. Hards for Sean and Guga, they want to go long. Softs for the 4 guys in the back, Lanky, Mihai, Kuko, also everyone else on the medium. But of course, this could go so many ways on strategy. I mean, I get what Guga is doing. He doesn't want to get into any traffic, but the issue he has here, he's risking being jumped on the start by Bobodinho. And then, he'll be in traffic no matter what. Of course, if you are in the lead, yeah, if he keeps his lead, he can definitely go long and just let everybody else get stuck in traffic behind him. Not a bad idea. We'll see how it plays out for him, of course. They have to make 2 stops no matter what. If you don't pit twice, you will be disqualified by the game. They line up on the grid. Of course, Guga on the inside, Borinho on the outside on the right hand side, PC really behind. Then to Williams, Pix and Sean. Phantom, Sully, Flavors, Pubdog, Viral, Edwin, Bazooka, Action Rig, Lanky. There comes Mihai, Kukro and Aussie. Everyone is lined up. I can't believe I managed to actually remember the whole grid, that's crazy. Here we go. 5 red lights in Monaco. And it's lights out, and away we go, and Guga gets away not well at all, but Borinho is going to jump him down towards turn 1, he's on the outside line, ahead, breaks late on the medium compound, and exactly what I feared might happen. Guga, on the hard, can't have the start that Borinho has had, and just drops behind. There's a crash in behind, who's that? Well, there was a crash. I swear there was a car sideways, but all fine, never mind. Lanky Brown and Bazooka, side by side, heading to Murbo. Up ahead, Phantom and Sean also side by side heading into the happen. Phantom sends it up the inside and way too late in the brakes. Slams into the side of Pix, and I think he's getting himself damage from that as well. Sean and Phantom still barging each other out the way here. Coming into the tunnel now. Phantom is ahead in the end, but Sean he's picked up damage from that massive hit that he had with Pix in the hairpin there as he completely missed the breaking point. And yeah, front left end plate damage on the Ferrari. Pubdog there with a tap on the rear of Sully, also getting tapped on the rear, I think, in when Flavors from behind. There's a squabble going on, a track limit penalty for Mihai as he cut the Nouvelle Chicane. And a lot of chaos going on all over the grid. Of course, a first lap of Monaco, you expect loads and loads of chaos. So here we have the tire graphic. Lap 1 pit stops for Kuko and Mihai. They want to get out of this traffic as early as possible. Mihai with a wing change as well. Kuko, no wing change. He's just going for the hard. He is going for the big undercut here. Of course, Kuko, one of the fastest drivers in this division, has to serve a qualifying ban. He has to get creative. And immediately on the first lap, he decided, I'm stuck. No point. Get in. Put a different tire on. Essentially make this a one-stop race. From here to the end, of course, he has to make one more stop. But he can now get the undercut on every single driver. The problem that he has, all of these guys have got pretty much, probably better tires than him even, because he's on hards, most of them are on mediums. And at worst, 1 lap worse than him. So I'm not sure, I think it's a little bit too early. I like the idea to do a big undercut, but I think lap 1 is too ambitious. I'm sure he'll get of course he has the pace to be at the front. So he should probably get most in the midfield with that. And that is, I think, the most important part. Once he's in that sort of top 7, top 8 range, you can work with that and just pick up places from there with the chaos that's likely to go on. I don't think we'll be having a clean race from here to the end. Lanky Brown also in the pits, and so is Edwin. No wing change for Lanky. Just the strategic stop, also wanting to get out of the traffic. Edwin with a wing change. And the crucial question now is, Action Rig of course has jumped them. Are they going to come out of Kuko? Kuko is already out of the last corner. He's going to jump Edwin for sure. Lanky Brown's going to come out the pit lane right there. Gets to cut the first corner. But still, I think Kuko is well ahead. Crucially, and ahead. Yes. Indeed. 2 Mercedes side by side coming out the pit lane there. That's Edwin. Now, side by side up the hill with Mihai. Mihai on the right, Edwin on the left, and Mihai pulls ahead. But Edwin coming back at him. Up the inside, Edwin makes contact with his teammate. That is not what you want to be seeing there. That could have ended in absolute disaster for Mercedes. And Edwin has a look up the inside again. Surely not. Mihai slams the door shut on him. That was never going to work out for Edwin. He's being very, very aggressive against Mihai here. Which is surprising to see, considering the two of them, yeah, are teammates. You'd think they want to be working together to try and get something out of this race. At the moment, they are fighting for the wooden spoon, and they are fighting with everything they have instead of trying to work together to get after Lanky, Kuko, Action Rig, and all the other guys ahead who have not pit yet. Another one, Aussie, lap 4, he's in the pits as well, coming off those softs and onto his end of the hards. And once again, crucial question, where does he come out? He should be behind Action Rig, well, quite far behind Action Rig. He should be behind Kuko as well, and he should be behind Lanky, but I think he's got 2 Mercedes as well, coming off the pit lane, who will be behind him, I think. There he is. And Mihai is all the way back here, so yeah, Aussie comes out between Lanky and Mihai in 15th place. One of his 2 mandatory stops down. And PC Bully is putting a lot of pressure on Guga here. But this is a struggle at Monaco. As long as Guga just keeps his nose clean, there's not a whole lot Pisibuli can do. He's definitely faster, but you have to have like a 2-second advantage in terms of pace to really have a chance of overtaking. At least one. And even then it gets quite difficult. And right now, of course, Pisibuli has a tyre advantage, which will help him try and get past Guga, but it's not big enough to really make anything happen. The combination of dirty air and the way this track works in general, being so narrow and such, short straights into not really any heavy braking zones, so it's a perfect recipe for being completely stuck behind another driver. Pisibuli has to stare at the back of Guga and think about if he can do anything on strategy. Of course, the gap to leader is quite important here right now. They'll come out around Bazooka sort of territory. There is a bit of a gap between Bazooka and Raul they could pit into. That already gets quite important. Top 3 breaking away pretty far. Next car behind picks 4 seconds back. On the hunt is Phantom Fox. Kuko gets past Action Rig coming to Murbo. Crucial for his race not to get stuck behind him there. And we've got a yellow flag. Edwin is out! Edwin with a crash coming out of the casino. Fortunately, no car anywhere near there, so we won't be able to see what happened. Only a yellow flag though, no safety car deployed for that one. FIA says it's all good, we can keep racing, even though there is a car probably stopped on the racing line, or at least close to it. I mean, there's no runoff there. He must be on the racing line. But, yeah, nothing. And Mihai with a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. The medium might be dropping off quite a bit already, because Bobardino has been caught massively by Guga. He is now practically pushing him for the casino and coming down towards Mirabeau, looking for a move up the inside. Has a little look, sort of halfway in that gap, but of course you can't really send it through there. It's never going to work out. Well, you can, and it probably is one of the better overtaking spots, but you need a bit more of a tyre advantage than that to really have a scent. As Lanky Brown gets past Action Rig up the hill into Massenet. Next one up ahead is also you need to get past Action Rig. And Action Rig comes to the middle of the track. Also on the hard compound, a 3-lap tyre advantage. Can he find a way around the Aston Martin? Going to the hairpin, the slowest part of the track, nothing that you can do around here. I think his best opportunity now is coming out of port here and down towards the Nouvelle Chicane. He's quite low on the EAS though. Action Rig with a bad exit, a little bit loose on the traction. Now Aussie in the slipstream. Trying to move, looking for it. But he can't get alongside, doesn't have the straight line speed. Lanky Brown now picks up a 3-second time penalty, and so does Rival, I think. At the same time, yes. Action Rig goes deep in the swimming pool chicane. And Aussie has a look up the inside into Raskas. Nope, doesn't get alongside. Bazooka is in the pits. His first of 2 mandatory pit stops on lap 7. Now to the air is enabled. Action Rig pulls off to the left hand side. Lets Aussie and Mihai go. But Mihai hasn't got a run on Aussie there. And that might have been attractive at morning through turn 1 there. I'm not quite sure. A little look close to it. Up the hill, he's not got the EAS. Has Mihai to look for a move into Massenet. Bazooka coming out of the pits. On track in last position, but of course he's made a mandatory pit stop. Most others in this race have not, so he will definitely move forward throughout the course of this pit stop window, this first one. Guga all over the back of Bobardino, Pisibuli all over the back of Guga. This battle for the top 3 positions is very much on. Bobardino and Guga fighting for podium and race win really. Pisibuli has more to worry about, he has a championship to win. Phantom Fox in the pits. And so is Sully. The two of them with the undercut against the Williams. Phantom Fox, does he change the wing that he had damaged? No, he doesn't. He keeps driving on the damaged wing. So it clearly isn't too bad. Both Sully and Phantom on to of the hards. And here comes Kuko. Have they been jumped by Kuko? Yes, they have. A strategical masterclass by Kuko. I think he's in effective P4 with this, because he will surely undercut Pix and Sean as well. They weren't too far away from Phantom, and he's got 1.5 seconds on them and is gaining. I set lap almost too early. Clearly it was a very good idea to pit immediately, because Kuko has maneuvered himself into an outstanding position from a qualifying ban to now be in an effective 4th place. We did tell him this, I mean, he did cry a lot about that qualifying ban, of course, as you would if you have a Monaco qualifying ban. But as a man who in PSGL, just 1 season ago actually, pulled off a magical, 2 seasons ago, a magical last first challenge around Monaco. Of course, absolutely no bias there in that. I'm just stating the facts. But I did actually go last to first. I had a qualifying ban at Monaco for blocking someone in qualifying, and then started last, everyone crashed, and I won. And that was before the mandatory 2-stop. Kuko has used this mandatory 2-stop to absolute perfection, and is going to come out the pits just behind PC Woody, ahead of Phantom, ahead of Sully. Pix has been jumped by loads of people. He comes out just behind Sully. And Kuko, I mean, PC was in the leading group. Kuko's only 1.5 seconds away from that. Of course, now he'll drop back with a 7-lap tire advantage in favor of PC Woody, but he's in an unbelievable position, considering where he started. Bobolinho with a aggressive strategy here. He's gone for the softs, so his second pit stop will come quite early. Those tires won't go for very long. Guru was in the lead of the Grand Prix to start. Good jump by Bobolinho. PC Woody was right behind him. Bobolinho and PC Woody came in. Guga is still going. Not responding to the undercut just yet. Of course, Bobolinho and PC Woody are about to run back of Sully. Not Sully, Viral, sorry. Different Red Bull. And that could be quite crucial if they get stuck here. They need to get past Viral quickly. Can't afford to lose time here, otherwise that is just complete time loss against Guga. And Bobolinho goes past Viral on the inside, heading towards turn 1. Viral opened the door quite wide there. I'm not sure if he fully let him pass, which he is not supposed to be doing, really. I don't wanna allege that without having the proof, but it looked like it, I can't lie. PC Woody has a look up the inside into Mirabo. Viral tries to hold on around the outside, does he? But doesn't he happen? He backs out sensibly there. Not really any reason to try and fight that. I would have only risked a collision in a battle that he's not involved in. Of course, it makes sense to back out of that. But flat out letting Bobolinho pass in the main straight, I think, is a lot more questionable. Kuko under pressure from Phantom Fox. Phantom! Oh, so close into the braking for the Nuva chicane. But he can't find a gap. Kuko does a good job there to cover his bases. But it looks like a matter of time. Look at how close Phantom is. At some point he's gonna force a mistake from Kuko and slip through, surely. Of course, Kuko under big pressure here. A 6-step tire advantage in favor of Phantom, and they have to go quite long, really, does Kuko, to get back into a better position for the second stint, so he doesn't run into the same problem again. But Sully is also all over the back of Phantom, looking for a move towards turn 1. But nothing doing up there. Now they go up the hill towards Massenet. But with Kuko having slipstream, or Kuko giving slipstream to Phantom up the hill, of course, it's a lot tougher for Sully. Is it Pup Dog? He's in the pits, and that's his first stop? Yeah, first stop for Pup Dog, and a wing change as well. He picked up damage at some point. Goes onto a Freshened of Hearts and comes to the pit lane in 16th position. PC Woody doing a good job to stay with Bobolinho. The hards, I mean, the softs are not a good race tire around here whatsoever. You can, I can tell you that. I tried them in RRL. They were utterly awful. And Bobolinho, I think, is struggling from that as well right now. Gato leader, of course, has come down quite a lot. So there's no question about it. Bobolinho will come out in the lead of the Grand Prix ahead of Guga. And Guga will be behind PC Woody as well. My question is, what's going to happen here? Viral drives into the pit lane. I mean, if Guga comes out behind his teammate Kuko, that would be absolute disaster, as Sully has a run on Phantom. Sully and Phantom side by side towards turn 1. Sully on the inside. Breaks later, and the championship leader clears Phantom, picks all out of shape out of turn 1 there. And has he smashed his front wing off? Yes, he has, on both sides, I think. Yes, both sides of the wing on Pix's car heavily damaged. Such a good race for them so far. They're qualifying up in 4th place. But it is... well... all for naught it seems for Pix. Yeah, that's massive damage. Unfortunately for him. That he'll have to either nurse through or get a pit stop and a wing change on now. Either way, that's really gonna hamper his chance in this race. Actually making the pits for his first mandatory pit stop. And Tuco now under pressure from Sully. Because Tuco could also be helping Guga here to make sure he actually at least stays in 3rd place. Alpine are in a championship fight in the constructors. Neither of them have a chance in the drivers, but they are both doing well enough that they have a chance in the constructors with their combined points tally. And Kuko could help his teammate get some more points out of this race. Pix is in the pits. Only 3 laps after pitting for his enough Haas. He's back in the pit lane as Kuko with a lockup in the first corner. We have to stay on board here. Can't have a look at Pix pit stop because Sully, I think, is setting up a move. He isn't gonna have a chance in Massenet. A quick look at Pix. And he goes on to another hard, so he's gonna try and go to the end from here. And he will come out, I think, just behind Bazooka. In 14th place will Pix. But he is done with the pit stops. A 26 lap hard stint though is gonna be a struggle for sure. But he's not out of it. And PC Woody putting lots of pressure on Bobo now. The soft is already falling off quite badly. And this is what I was concerned about when I saw Bobo going on that tire. It really doesn't last for any amount of time. As Flavors and Lanky Brown with the duel. Flavors goes around the outside into the Newell chicane and secures P9. And this is the battle for the race lead. PC Woody has a run up the hill to Massenet, has to back out. That would have ended in a crash for sure. Smart by PC Woody there. The gap was closing. Self-preservation. Because he can't afford a crash at all. He needs to get these points for the championship, and I think Bobodinho knows that. But PC Woody has a lot more to lose here. Bobodinho, of course, being a reserve, he really has no championship motivations. At least Guga is fighting for the constructors. A little slide coming out of 40 and on towards the tunnel. But PC Woody, yeah, it's not quite enough on the run, I think. Not this time with the Nouvelle. Bobodinho is now closing in on Sean. And this is also pretty crucial. Try and get around Sean as fast as you can. The gap to Tuco behind, absolutely massive, 11.5 seconds. River still going along exactly what I thought he might do when I saw him standing on the hards. He's doing it to perfection right now. Just gonna keep going and going and going, and that gap that Tuco's creating right now, it's worked out quite well for Alpine really. With Tuco on the big undercut. Right now he's, I don't think he's even going slowly on purpose. The tire is just, of course, a little slower. 12 level hards against 6 level hards. He's blocking everyone, holding a massive train behind him. And as long as he can keep holding that, he's gonna keep helping Guga. And it means that Guga can create more of a tire delta, because of course, he's already lost the place on track to Bobodinho and PC, there's no question about it, he'll come out behind them. But, the longer he goes here, the fresher tires he will have, and really a gap of 11 seconds, if you have a 10 lap tire advantage, say, disappears in 3-4 laps. So it really doesn't matter how large he lets that gap grow. The only thing that matters is the amount of tire advantage you can get. That it will be way more important than trying to get close, because you can't buy anything from being close. PC Woody, and there we have it. That's exactly what I mean. The tire advantage for PC Woody isn't big enough, but with a massive mistake. Guga's in! Lap 15, as I was talking about. Guga's tire advantage he's gonna drive out here. As Bobodinho and PC Woody are battling over P3. And Bobodinho dives into the pits. Bobodinho with his second pit stop already. PC Woody is released. And he takes, well, P2 in this race. Sean is taking the lead, but he hasn't made a pit stop at all yet. PC Woody in the effective Grand Prix. And Guga, with a 7-lap tire advantage now, is gonna get to start chasing after PC Woody. And exactly what I thought. Kuko is in the battle with Sully, and they make contact! At turn 1, Kuko goes into the barrier. And that for sure will go down to the stewards. Kuko will not be happy there. Phantom Fox looks up the inside on Sully as he also slipped past Kuko, who was ghosting out of turn 1 after the contact with Sully and the barrier. Kuko has picked up damage. The front left end plate on the Alpine smashed off. And the championship leader barges his way through for P4. Guga, he used the gap that Kuko created very nicely as PC when he goes for the lead at Sean. Sean has a massive rear lockup through no voltage gain. Gets a 10-second penalty for corner cutting, which is almost certainly being removed. That's completely bullshit. But PC only, crucially now, has a car between himself and Guga. As Guga's looking to go on the chase, we've got pit stops from Pix and Bazooka. Pix with his third stop already? Yeah. And Bazooka has also completed his mandatory pit stop now with his second one. Sean is in the pits for the first time, so Guga also released into the clean air. He can start chasing after PC only. 3.7 seconds to gain, 7 lap tire advantage. Let's see how quickly he can ease in that gap. If he can gain more than a second a lap, I say a move is possible. If he, leads more than 4 laps, he won't have... I mean, of course he'll get to him eventually. He just needs more of a pace difference to have a chance of overtaking. So, Sean, he stayed out unbelievably late, and now he's paying the price for it. He's coming out of the pits in P10. Made his job quite tough here, I would say. Of course, he has a big tire advantage now. Coming out on fresh mediums. But he's gonna need quite a bit of overtakes and the strategy to work out quite well to get much out of this race from now. But Mourinho is in a really interesting spot here. He's already made his 2 mandatory pit stops, but he's on the exact same lap of tire as Guga, who's just made his first pit stop. So he's not really even got really much of an undercut against Guga, and that could be a problem for him because he was already behind Guga, and now with Guga, of course, well, he won't run into the traffic that Bombardino is running into. He's got the same tires that Bombardino has. I don't think Bombardino has got a chance of really undercutting Guga. The best chance I guess he has is that PC really holds him up, as we have a yellow flag for Guga! And all of that goes out the window. Guga, from a, well, for sure a podium position, but he was fighting for the race win, has binned it in the casino. And there he is, stopped in the barrier on the left-hand side. A nightmare for Alpine. Kuko got into a collision with Sully and undid loads of his hard work that he made to get up into the top 5. And then Guga, from almost certainly at least a podium finish, I think, was almost guaranteed for him, goes into the wall and out of the Grand Prix. And that is the pain of Monaco, the danger of Monaco. Kuko crucially coming off the pit lane there for his second stop, inches ahead of Pub Dog, and now has a bit of clean air before he catches up to the train. Well, a bit is good. 12.5 seconds after the train of Viral, Flavors and Sean. Phantom Fox in for his second stop as well. That is a set of the hearts again for 20 laps to go to the end. Big damage on the front wing for Flavors, that is. He's got Viral right behind him. Viral for sure will be trying to get around him. Phantom Fox need to come out ahead of those two. If he gets stuck behind... Oh, that's close. Is he going to be ahead? Just about. Crucially. Very well timed pit stop by Phantom there to come out literally 2 tenths ahead of Flavors. And of course Flavors of damage would have held him up massively. So yeah, a crucial timing from the pit stop there on Phantom's part. Also not to change the wing again. Otherwise he would have dropped behind Flavors and Viral. And we've got a yellow flag for Pix! He's crashed in the last corner. And how is that not a safety car? How is that? How... FIA! He's on the racing line in a blind corner. Are you taking the piss? Where is the safety car? Shaw with the move on Aussie for P4. He goes up the inside into Nouveau Chicane. Bombardino is caught up in the back of Sully. But Sully dives into the pit lane. Of course, he has no motivation to hold up Bombardino. If anything, he wants Bombardino to go win this race. Chase after PC Wooly. Take some points away from him. Sully's running his own race here. Covering the undercut from Kuko. And from Sean as well, isn't he? I mean, did Sean pit twice? I've lost track. Yes. No, Sean has pit once. But Phantom Fox has pit twice, and he's ahead of Sully now. Crucial there. Sully comes in the pits in 5th place, which pit stop cleared is 4th place. Yeah, I mean, he won't be ahead of PC Woody. And Aussie out of the pit lane in 9th. Probably 10th as Mihai is coming flying past. And now Action Break is out! Another one at the Nouveau chicane! And if we go over Bobodinho, we will be seeing his teammate parked up here somewhere. FIA! Come, he's on the curb! How is there not even a... Is it glitched? Is the Monaco glitch of never... And another one! Bazooka! What is going on in this... I think Bazooka retired in the pits though. Yeah, that's Bazooka up there. Just putting it in the VK pit box. But what is going on right now? So many DNFs now all at once. I mean, is the safety car even on? PC Woody is in the pit lane, releasing Bobodinho into the lead of the Grand Prix. And that is PC Woody's last stop in this Grand Prix. Bobodinho made his last stop as well. And only a 5-lap tire advantage in favor of PC Woody. I would have gone longer. Because he had not much risk. He had, yeah, 6 seconds to Sean, who has to pit again. And then another 3.5 to Phantom, who is going to the end. So really, all he had to do is stay ahead of Phantom in this pit stop, and he could have afforded to go quite longer and get himself a bigger tire advantage over Bobodinho. Of course, it does mean more of a gap, but we talked about it earlier. You can eat those gaps up like nothing, so quickly. It's just crucial to have as much of a tire advantage as possible to make the actual overtake not just easier, but even possible at all. With only 5 laps on the hard, I don't think PC Woody has much of a chance to overtake Bobodinho. He might even catch him for sure. No question about that. 18 laps, 6.5 seconds, that's nothing. The gaps at Monaco, like, you can basically halve them, or even divide them by 4, and that's sort of like a normal gap, if that makes sense, like a normal track. At Monaco, the gaps really disappear, or appear also quite quickly, if you have a tire advantage especially, because the mechanical grip from the tire matters so much around here. You have so many traction zones where you gain so much time on the tire that on a fresh tire compared to a used one, that you really can just absolutely gain seconds a lap easily on a fresh tire. So yeah, having those gaps open up isn't too bad as long as you stay ahead on track position. That's all you need. And Pix out of the session. That's honestly heartbreaking after the qualifying. I really want to see a great result from him, and it's yeah, it's all gone up in smokes for him. Not the result he would have wanted to see after qualifying. Pablo and Aussie dueling it out for 7th here. Have a quick look at the total number of pit stops. The only one left in this race who has to make another stop is Sean. Everybody else has made the 2 mandatory stops. They can go to the end by the regulations, and I think of course they will. They have not much reason not to. But Sean has to make 1 more stop, and I think he will come out between Kuko and Pablo as of now. So in 6th place. 16 laps to go, and a yellow flag. This time it's Rival who's gone into the wall at the Nouveau chicane. Another one. And once again, there's no safety car. At this point, I mean, it's turned on, right? Is it under simulation settings? No, it's rules and flags then, isn't it? Yeah, rules and flags. Safety car, standard. It's not, it's on standard. It's where it's supposed to be. Not even VLCs, I think it has to be glitched. Because normally at least we'd get virtual safety cars for the DNFs that we get in F1 Total. But to see not a single safety car with the crashes we've had, with people literally stopped on the racing line, is unbelievable. We're down to 11 cars now, starting with 17. 1 car away from every single finisher getting some points out of this Grand Prix. Aussie still stuck behind Pablo, looking for a way around him. Has a run now, maybe into Nouveau chicane. Sends it up the inside, Aussie! Pop Dog has to go off track. That gets a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. But I would say that Aussie sort of forced him off track there. And that's honestly fair enough for Pop Dog to get that that track limit warning removed. If he wants to, if he needs to. If at the end of the race it comes down to it. But Aussie's definitely getting desperate here. He is a bit frustrated behind Pop Dog. Of course, he has a time penalty hanging over his head as well. 6 seconds. So he needs to get a move on, get a bit of a gap to people behind him. And he can't afford to be stuck behind him forever. But he's not got any EAS left where he needs to recharge a little bit to have a better chance of overtaking. Because if you're burning with like 5% EAS, you're not going to have a run anyway. Gap at the front, down to 2 seconds. Piscivoli is definitely getting closer and closer to Bobadino very quickly. The question is that tire advantage enough to make the pass happen on track? He's got plenty of time for it at least. So that's a positive for him. Another one to look out for, of course, is Sully and Phantom in 4th and 5th. But Sully only 1 lap fresher tires. That won't be much really. Won't be much of a chance to make a move there. Oh, Aussie! Almost in the back of Pop Dog there. That wouldn't have helped his race whatsoever. It's still just sort of stuck here. But another McLaren on the move. Piscivoli in the S range to Bobadino. The battle for the race win is on. Now Bobadino needs to hold on for dear life. It is these two for the race win. Everybody else is absolutely miles behind. 13 seconds to Sean, 13.5 seconds to Sean really. And Sean with another pit stop to do. As Aussie with the move on Pop Dog. In Mirbo it looks like Pop Dog goes back up the inside of the hairpin. They back wheels. They lock wheels. But Aussie pulls ahead in the end. And now we have to take a look at these leaders because Piscivoli is very close to everybody. Can he get him up the hill to Massenay maybe? If he gets a good run, if he forces him into a mistake. Sean now in the pits for his second and final pit stop in this Grand Prix. Of course he gets behind Phantom, he gets behind Sully, he will get behind Kugo. And he will definitely be ahead of Aussie, so yeah, Sean coming out in 6th position. And then he's got 13 laps to try and get some positions near this Grand Prix. How far behind Kugo is he? Has he got the time to get that position back? Aim for a top 5 finish? I don't think so. 10 seconds? It's doable. That's a doable gap in 13 laps of Monaco. Question is if he will be able to overtake. 8 laps, medium against starts? Yeah, maybe. I think it's possible. As Mihai is being passed by Flavors and Lanky. They are ghosting through each other right now. And Flavors has come out ahead. Lanky with wing damage on both sides of the front wing. End plates missing there, and Mihai up the inside into Mirbo. As they bang side pods. But Mihai pulls ahead, Lanky back up the inside into the hairpin. I keep seeing this, people! Why are you letting it happen? It's not that hard not to get dive bombed there, come on! And Mihai, what a move by Lanky as he now swoops around the outside. Oh, have I praised him too early because Mihai is still alongside? Or is he? No, Mihai is backed out into the tunnel and Lanky holds on the 10th place. With a damaged wing, to be that late on the brakes into the hairpin, and Mihai completely has his pants pulled down is unbelievable. And look at this PC when he goes so deep there, trying to get a cutback line, better exit anything. You really need to pull out all the tricks that you have in your repertoire to make a move around Monaco. Surprise the car, the driver ahead, wait for a mistake, force a mistake really. So far, no way around for Piscivoli. He's got some time left to go though. Mihai is in the pits again. And this is his third pit stop. So this is a yeah, not a mandatory stop. He didn't have to do this one, he wanted to. Goes with fresh tires with 12 laps to go. Maybe things will make his overtake on Lanky easier if he gets now back up to him. But he might actually have a chance in overtaking him with the bigger tire advantage. If he even gets back up to him. 18 seconds, 11 laps, probably not. That's a big gap. PC Willy staring at the back of the Aston Martin, has a look into Mirbo. Recharging EAS, of course. He needs that. But where is his best chance with this lead? Fast lap the race from Sean there, of course, as he has the fresh mediums on the car right now. The winglet lying on the ground there. Flavors picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings. Presumably burning some more of the engine, but he hasn't got the run once again. You just need to be so unbelievably close, and with a dirty air in this game, you can't really get that close. Oh! Bombardino's crashed! Bombardino! With 11 laps to go from the lead of the Grand Prix, has crashed here in Monaco. PC Willy went into him as well. Has PC Willy picked up damage? Bombardino clips the inside barrier on the exit of the and PC Willy has got damage, big damage on the McLaren. But there is a virtual safety car out on track. Unbelievable that we actually got a safety car for once. PC Willy can probably use the safety car to pit and come out ahead of Phantom. PC Willy is in. And now the McLaren pit stop crew have to work as fast as humanly possible to get him out ahead of Phantom Fox and Sully. Bombardino. So late in the Grand Prix. He had a P2 for sure, at least secured. Here Phantom and Sully crawling past the pit lane. The VSC at painfully slow speed for them right now, but I think have they got PC Willy? It's close. It's close. It's close, but they have, yes. Phantom Fox now in the lead of the Grand Prix. What a development. Bombardino crashes. PC Willy gets up behind him, makes contact with the stricken car, smashes his front wing off, and comes out of the pits 7 seconds behind Sully and Phantom, 6 seconds behind Sully and Phantom, as he has a great news on the VSC, just ahead of Tuco. But all of a sudden, unbelievably, somehow, after PC Willy has been so far away from him this entire time, Sully has ended up ahead of him. And we are down to just 10 cars still running in this Grand Prix. That is such a big shame. Bombardino, that would have been one hell of a result for him. He's had so much bad luck. Of course, this one, you can't blame bad luck. He did just drive into the wall on his own. But think of Austria reverse, we had the late puncture. Think of Imola, where he ran out of fuel in both races. He was on for a second place finish. This time, he was leading the race, of course. PC was all over the back of him, so it's tough to say who would have won. But for sure, at least a P2, and likely a P1 in the back for him. And now, he's coming out of Monaco with 0 points. Meanwhile, all of a sudden, this battle between Phantom and Sully has turned into a battle for the lead. But PC Willy, look at the amount of time he's gaining. He has not given up on this race win. If he were to find a way around these two in those last couple of laps, that would be unbelievable stuff. But look at how much time he's gaining. He's already in DRS range practically. He'll have DRS by the end of the lap for sure. The only problem that he's got is that Sully will have slipstream on Phantom. And that will make it even more difficult to overtake. In the same turn though, of course, Sully will have similar dirty air to what PC will experience behind Sully. And that could mean it's easier to pass in turn. But yeah, he's absolutely rocketed to the back of Sully. And now, we've got a 2 championship protagonists locked in a battle with 9 laps to go of the Monaco Grand Prix. And a massive tyre advantage for the guy behind for PC Willy. He's also the guy chasing the championship. He needs this position. He can't really afford Sully to outscore him another race. PC Willy needs to keep getting those points gaps, or keep into that points gap. He needs to overtake Sully here. And a great exit out of turn 1. PC Willy going for it, up the hill, towards Massenet, around the outside, so close to the barriers, they bang wheels. PC Willy around the outside, Sully in the dirty air of Phantom, and PC Willy swoops around the outside into the casino to the inside. What a move by the McLaren man on his championship rival, a championship defining move, you could say, as he takes second place here in Monaco. And now he's staring at the back of Phantom Fox. He is not done here. PC Willy, that race win, he will think it's his for the taking, for fuck's sake. I can't speak anymore. And now he already seems to have around on Phantom Fox. Of course, Phantom Fox with wing damage could be an easy target for PC Willy. With a 10 lap tyre advantage and then an attacked front wing, He was on his way to an easy P2, battling Bobardino for the race win until Bobardino crashed, picked up big damage, had to pit under VSC, came out just ahead of Kuku crucially. And now he's making his way past the leaders, past Sully, and Phantom Fox the next target. And with how... well, he made it look easy how he dispatched Sully. And you would think Phantom Fox should be easy as well then. But these are some of the best drivers in Division 2, of course. No slouches, Sully and Phantom Fox. We know very well what they can do. But Piscivoli, once again up the hill to Masane, but Phantom Fox hasn't covered off a little bit, has he? No, he's gone deep. Piscivoli gets alongside, now the switchback line, down towards Mirabel. Piscivoli, can he outbrake the Ferrari? As late as he possibly dares on those fresh mediums, and Piscivoli, with a better exit out of Mirabel, takes the lead of this Grand Prix. What a drive by Piscivoli to get himself back into the lead after that stop under VSC. He came out in third place and he made the moves on track, which is not something you see a lot of in Monaco. Absolutely unbelievable stuff by Piscivoli. And now all he has to do is cruise home. He has got no pressure from behind. Phantom Fox and Sully can't keep the pace compared to his fresh mediums. They have got quite old hearts. They will be too focused on each other as well, of course. Phantom and Sully definitely still battling over P2 here. Wow. I can't believe what I thought it was lost for Piscivoli when I saw he had the big damage and had to pit under the VSC. But I mean, I talked earlier about the big tire the big tire offset. How quickly you can make those gaps disappear. It was 6 seconds, and I think he caught them within 2 laps. So he made up 3. Yeah, he's already 3 seconds gone. The pace difference is so big from these fresh tires compared to the used ones that you can absolutely rocket towards people. And if you have a pace difference that big, it can also be quite possible to make an overtake happen. Sean. Yep, he's on back of Kuku. That gap was also 10 seconds at some point. And now Kuku, his track penalty as well hanging over his head. He's under pressure from Sean here to be overtaken out on track as well. Sean, I mean, if he gets past Kuku, it's not impossible that he gets a podium, I think. Even with so few laps to go. If he gets a move past Kuku quickly, Sully and Phantom aren't too far away, and they are also, of course, battling each other. So I have to keep my eye on 3 battles here. Phantom against Sully, Kuku against Sean, Papto against Flavors. And yeah, Papto and Flavors both on 3 seconds. This battle is actually to be decided out on track. Sean and Kuku has already... Oh! Sean, I think that's the end of your podium missions. Yep, he smashed off the front left end plate at turn 1. And now I think he can only hope to get that 4th place secured against Kuku. Stay within the 3-second range. But I think with the front wing damage, he's not going to be making any sort of attacks on Sully and Phantom in P2 and P3. And I think the highest chance of a move really is here, in the battle for 7th. Flavors and Papdog. Last week Flavors in Canada scored his first points in the season. Now he's battling for 7th. And he's got a big tire advantage over Papdog, but he's also got absolutely no end plate on his front wing on either side. That won't be helping his downforce. Both right and left sided end plate on the Haas missing. On the Sauber also, yep, the front left end plate missing. So both cars impacted by front wing damage, but more so Flavors. But he has got 9 laps of tires, so you can tell how much later he's braking as he's pushing Papdog in the braking zone into the hairpin. Lanky Brown though, on the fresh mediums behind, closing in. He's got 6 seconds of penalty still. Mihai down in 10th. He's got 15 seconds of penalty, so yeah, he's going to finish 10th in this race, but a point. A very well deserved point. Do not get that wrong when I'm saying Mihai is last. He's finishing this race as of now, which Bobardino, Viral, Bazooka, Actionrick, Pix, Guga and Edwin did not manage. Even just finishing this race gets you a point, and I think that's honestly quite good for Monaco. It's actually very tough to even finish. I mean, who am I talking to? You've all, I mean, if you're watching an F1 league race, especially a league race that's not like PSGL F1, where like I don't know the big esports guys race, and you just think I've heard of these guys. I'll tune in for once. If you're watching F1 Total, you've played the F1 game and you know how unbelievably difficult Monaco is, especially because I mean these guys are quite good in the game. Don't get that twisted, but they don't live on this game. They don't spend nearly as much time as some of the sweats that we get in Division 1, especially the likes of or some of the reserves that we get from VNT when they come over, the likes of Niall, of course, he is yeah, Mr. Monaco for a very good reason. Sully picks up a 3-second time penalty, and all of a sudden that could drop him behind Sean for 4th. And that would be an even bigger swing in favour of PC Money. But Sean with a banner mistake at turn 1, so the battle for 3rd still on between Sean and Sully, as Slayers gets a 3-second time, an instant 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Not even multiple mornings, that's interesting. So I guess he missed the chicane and then rejoined, but he rejoined behind Pub Dog, so it can't have been too bad. That might go down to the stewards then, we'll see. What's he talking about? Yeah, the likes of Niall, Antonio, of course Cartwright is also, but Cartwright doesn't spend as much time on this game as you'd think, really, seeing how well he does. Gavroj, he did a race with us, and he is also one of those guys who, they spend a lot of time on this game. For them, even for them, actually finishing a Monaco race, I mean, they can do it, but they also don't have an easy time of it. They will make mistakes, and they will struggle at times. And sometimes, yes, they do also crash. Even the guys who spend so much time on this game get caught out by a track like this. So when you go down to a lower division with guys who definitely are far above average. I mean, if you think of the average F1 player go into just a random online lobby and they, I don't know, turn the assists off and they just go in circles. Of course, these guys are a hell of a lot better than that. But still, this track, it asks so much from the driver, and it is an impressive performance to even bring the car home. Even more so if you are in a position like we see really now, 12 seconds in the lead. Unbelievable stuff. Of course, with 1 stop more than everybody else. Yeah, 3 stop, well, than everybody else in the top 8. Lanky has got 3 and Mihai has got 4. Lanky, oh my god, Lanky. I was about to praise you, but the moment I go into a camera, what am I seeing? He's completely pushed Flavors into the barrier from behind. Flavors has got no front wing left. That's bad. Yeah, and of course Lanky gets past him there, but that's certainly going to go to the stewards, I reckon. The battle for second is now heating up here. We've got Phantom, Sonny, Kuko, Sean all converging in on each other. Getting closer and closer to each other. With Sonny and Kuko having time penalties, it's pretty much decided that Phantom is going to be in P2. But can Sonny get the 3-second range to Sean? That is going to be the question over these last 1.5 laps. A 3-second time penalty to Lanky Brown, which is him up to 9 seconds now. Flavors actually, I think he... Oh, he only got damage to damage this level. I was thinking if he kept going with the damage, which I guess he might as well. There's 1 lap to go. I think he loses more with the pit stop. And yeah, Lanky's, Flavors is gonna keep going. Lanky now with a battle against Pub Dog. Pub Dog covers the inside to turn 1. Lanky goes for the outside, they bang wheels, and Lanky with a switchback as Pub Dog gets all out of shape on 27 lap old tires. Of course, he's got not much grip left at all. Lanky takes 7th place in this Grand Prix. Heading on to the last lap, Pisiburi with a bit of a slide through turn 1 there. He's not cruising, he's still trying to go fast, despite the fact he has a 15-second gap behind and growing. Sully very close behind Phantom. It would be quite important for him to get that position, to have more of a gap to Sean and keep that 3rd place maybe. But of course, being knocked into a battle with Phantom will lose him a lot of time. So I think the better choice for him is to just stick behind and hope Phantom has the pace to get him the 3-second gap to Sean. Right now, I think he has got him. Flavors, I think, has once again missed the chicane, of course, with absolutely no throwing. Pub Dog has got a puncture. Yes, a puncture for Pub Dog. With Yeah, 2 laps to go for him, 1.5 laps to go. The tire blows up, heading to the back, and he can't even get the car turned around here. Rear right puncture on the Sauber, and that drops him to 10th place. Now a lap behind as well, everybody, as Piscioni goes across the line for the win here in Monaco. Back-to-back wins for Piscioni. And what a drive by him on a 3-stop strategy in Monaco. Made his way past Phantom and Sully on track. Phantom tires out on track at this point. I mean, he's still P10, so he really had nothing to keep going for. He wasn't going to get Mihai back. Phantom takes a 2nd place finish. Sully 3rd on track. But it is Sean who finishes on the podium with the time penalties for Sully and Kugel. Sully ends up in 4th place, just off the podium, and a 13-point swing in favor of Piscioni, fastest lap of the race. Went to Mihai. Kugel from last on the grid with a qualifying ban up into 5th. A great race from him. Ossie is to bring the McLaren home in 6th. Then we've got Lanky Brown, who will finish in 7th, I believe. Yeah, he's got quite a big gap to Flavors. Of course, he is the reason Flavors has got no wings, so that certainly will be going out to the stewards. And Lanky Brown brings home the Ferrari in 7th. A good result for the team, 2nd and 7th. They will take that for sure. Flavors did a good job on those last couple of laps to bring the car home with the massive damage. And he finishes 8th. Mihai a lap down in 9th. And then Pub Dog with the puncture on the second to last lap, costing him a couple of points. He, well, doesn't finish. He still has a classified, I think, since he did most of the race. But yeah, he gets P10 in this Grand Prix. And the rest of the field DNFing much earlier, not classified. Piscioni with, yeah, a 2nd race win in a row after Canada, where Sully finished 2nd. This time, a much bigger swing in favor of him, and the championship is absolutely and categorically wide open. 4 races left to go. Piscioni has completely dissipated the gap that Sully had built, and at some point it was what, like 60 odd points that Sully was ahead. He missed the race, he didn't score in one, he crashed out. Did he ever crash out? I don't think so, but you get my point. He just... Sully didn't keep the gap that he had. He didn't... yeah, didn't manage it well enough. And Piscioni, he hasn't finished off the podium since Qatar. He missed Singapore and Spain, but his results, as of recent, have been utterly unbelievable. He won Qatar. He finished 3rd in Silverstone in Spain. That's Gabri. My bad. So yeah, okay. Qatar is the last time he finished off the podium. So then he missed Singapore. He finished 2nd in Silverstone, missed Spain, 3rd in Austria, 2nd in Japan, 1 in Imola, P2 in Brazil, 1 in Canada, and 1 again now in Monaco. Gap coming into this race, Sully was 23 points. Sully finishing in 4th place, he scores 12. Piscioni wins, scores 25, and that means the gap is down to just 10 points now. Heading to the last 4 rounds of the season. Up next, we're going to Mexico. The Mexican Grand Prix, 7 days from now. The championship sprint to the end. Gabri now, well, he was 16 behind Piscioni heading to this race. 39 behind Sully, so that's now up to 51 behind Sully. With 4 rounds to go. I think, unfortunately for Gabri, that's another missed opportunity, another lost title fight. It's not mathematically over yet, but realistically, 4 races, a gap like that, I think it might be it for Gabri. Missing this race was the final nail in the coffin of his championship ambitions. Very, very sad for Gabri, but we have got a title fight heading to the last 2 races, or the last 4 races, sorry. And one hell of a title fight at that, Piscioni and Sully. You should definitely tune in 7 days from now for that Mexican Grand Prix. And of course, in 4 days as well, on Saturday, for the Monaco Grand Prix in Division 1. You'll be seeing what I would say is the best Monaco driver on the game. Niall, he's turning up, of course. When we do Monaco, Niall will be there. It's a classic at this point. And a Well, not much of a championship fight in Division 1, unfortunately. I'd love to hype it up, but I am, unfortunately, 63 points behind Kart Racer, so I think that's in the bin with 5 rounds to go. If I've written off Garber, I have to write off myself as well. But it's a Constructors' Championship fight, right? Yeah, Haas is 43 behind McLaren. We can call it a fight for sure. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this race. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good evening. I certainly did. That was one hell of a race. Definitely the best Monaco Grand Prix we've ever had. That was absolute cinema. Unbelievable from start to finish. The mandatory two-stop in real life, utter shit. But in the game, in Division 2, wow. Beautiful. It made the race so much more exciting. That lap where we had like 4 or 5 cars DNF at once, unbelievable stuff. I can't believe we didn't have a safety car, but the race didn't need one. It was that good. So, yeah, just what a race. And if that doesn't convince you to tune in for this season-ending sprint, the last 4 rounds at Mexico, at China, at the Netherlands, and then the United Arab Emirates, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, to round out the season. I don't know what will. So yeah, that's my final goodbye. I've got nothing more to say. Have a good evening. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. See you in Mexico.